Stop everything right now. Pause. Breathe. I need you to hear something that will completely shatter the comfortable illusion you've been living in for years, maybe decades. You think you're in control of your life. You think you understand who you are. You believe you're making conscious choices every single day. But I'm about to reveal a truth so devastating, so absolutely crushing, that most human beings spend their entire existence running from it at full speed. And here's the worst part, the part that should make your stomach turn right now. You're probably one of them. At this very moment, as you watch this video, as your eyes scan these words, you are actively avoiding the one fundamental truth that could actually liberate you from the prison you've built around yourself. Do you feel it? That uncomfortable stirring deep in your chest? That slight anxiety creeping up your spine? Good. That's excellent. That discomfort is the first crack in the walls you've spent years constructing. You're about to discover why absolutely everything you believe about your life, your choices, your identity, might be nothing more than an elaborate, sophisticated escape plan. An escape from what? That's what we're going to uncover together. I'm going to show you the 7 unmistakable, undeniable signs that prove you're running from what simply cannot be escaped. But before we begin this journey into the deepest parts of yourself, I need you to do something. Ask yourself this question and really sit with it. When was the last time you truly looked at yourself without any masks, any filters, any pretense whatsoever? When did you last see yourself as you actually are, not as you wish to be seen? Leave your honest answer in the comments right now, because I promise you, what you're about to hear in the next minutes will fundamentally change how you see everything. Your relationships, your work, your dreams, your fears, your entire existence. Are you ready? I don't think you are. But that's exactly why you need to hear this. I've spent my entire life, decades upon decades, studying what it truly means to be human. Not the surface version we present to the world. Not the carefully curated social media version. Not the version you show to your colleagues at work or even to your family at dinner. I'm talking about the raw, terrifying, beautiful, authentic version that most people never, ever dare to face. The version that exists beneath all the layers of conditioning, expectation, and fear. And what I discovered through this lifelong investigation will deeply disturb you. It will make you uncomfortable. It might even make you angry at me for saying it. But I'm going to say it anyway because the truth matters more than your comfort. Here it is. Most of you, and I mean the vast majority of human beings walking this earth, are living in a carefully constructed psychological prison of your own making. You've built walls so incredibly high, so thick, so impenetrable, that you can't even see them anymore. You've been living inside these walls for so long that you think they're just the natural boundaries of reality. You think this is just how life is. But it's not. These walls are illusions. And you built them yourself, brick by brick, choice by choice, fear by fear. You tell yourself these walls protect you from pain, from rejection, from failure, from disappointment. But here's what you refuse to see: they're not protecting you. They're suffocating you. They're slowly killing everything authentic about you. Every single day, you wake up and make dozens of choices that push you further away from the one life you actually have. The only life you'll ever get. And the saddest, most tragic part of all this? You don't even realize you're doing it. The prison has become so familiar that you've mistaken it for freedom. Now, let me tell you about the first sign that you're running. Pay close attention here because this one is everywhere in modern life, yet almost nobody recognizes it. You fill every single moment of silence. Think about this carefully and be brutally honest with yourself. When was the last time you sat completely alone, in total silence, with absolutely nothing but your own thoughts? No smartphone buzzing with notifications. No music playing in the background. No television droning on about things that don't matter. No podcast filling your ears with someone else's ideas. No radio. No scrolling. No clicking. No consuming. Just you and the silence. You can't remember, can you? And if you're being truly honest, the very thought of sitting in complete silence for even 10 minutes makes you deeply uncomfortable right now. Your mind is already creating excuses. I'm too busy. That's a waste of time. I have too much to do. But these aren't reasons. They're symptoms. Symptoms of a disease that's destroying your ability to be present in your own life. The truth is this: silence absolutely terrifies you. And do you know why? Because in silence, without any distractions, you might actually have to confront who you really are. You might have to face the questions you've been carefully avoiding for years. Am I truly living the life I want to live? Am I being completely honest with myself about my choices? What am I really afraid of deep down? Why do I keep making the same mistakes over and over? What would I do differently if I had the courage? These questions live in the silence. They're waiting there for you. But you never let yourself get quiet enough to hear them. So what do you do instead? You fill every possible gap with noise. You scroll endlessly through social media content that you'll forget 5 seconds after seeing it. You binge watch shows you don't even enjoy. You keep yourself so relentlessly busy with meaningless tasks that you never have to stop and actually think about your life. You've become addicted to distraction. It's not entertainment anymore. It's medication. You're self-medicating against the pain of self-awareness. But here's what you desperately need to understand: that silence you're running from is the only place where real truth lives. In the noise, in the constant distraction, you can pretend to be anyone. You can avoid everything. In the silence, you cannot lie to yourself anymore. The masks fall away. The pretense crumbles. And what remains is the raw truth of your existence. That's what scares you. Not the silence itself, but what the silence reveals. The second sign goes even deeper and is far more dangerous to your well-being than you realize. You've created a completely fabricated version of yourself that has almost nothing to do with who you actually are. You wear this mask so consistently, so constantly, every single day, that you've completely forgotten it's not your real face. It's become permanent. You've been playing a role for so long that you've lost all contact with the actor underneath. Think about how you behave in different situations. At work, you're one person. With your family, you're someone slightly different. With your friends, another version emerges. On social media, you present yet another carefully curated identity. And none of these versions are entirely real. They're all performances. They're all designed to get a specific reaction from specific people. You tell people exactly what they want to hear. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You agree with opinions you don't actually hold. You act interested in things that bore you to tears. You pretend to like people you can't stand. You hide your real thoughts, your real feelings, your real desires, your real self, because you're absolutely terrified of rejection. You've become so incredibly skilled at playing these roles that you've lost touch with the truth underneath all the performance. Stop right now and think. Really think. Who are you when absolutely nobody is watching? Who are you when there's no one to impress, no one to please, no one whose approval you're seeking? Can you even answer that question? Most people can't. And that should terrify you. Because it means you've spent so much time being what others expect, what others need, what others want, that you have literally no idea who you actually are anymore. You've built this entire elaborate identity based purely on external validation. Your job title defines you. Your possessions define you. Your social status defines you. Your Instagram followers define you. Your relationship status defines you. But here's the question that will haunt you: strip all of that away, remove every external marker of identity, and who remains? What's left when you take away all the things you own, all the titles you hold, all the roles you play? That's the question that keeps you awake at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. That's why you reach for your phone in the darkness. Because facing that absolute emptiness, that void where your authentic self should be, is simply too terrifying to bear. So you fill it with more noise, more distraction, more performance. But the void remains. And it's growing larger every day you continue to ignore it. Now we come to the third sign, and I warn you, this one is going to hurt. This one is going to make you defensive. You might even want to stop watching right now. But don't. Stay with me. Because this is where the real work begins. Here's the sign: you blame everyone else for absolutely everything wrong in your life. Your parents didn't raise you correctly. They were too strict or not strict enough. They loved you too much or not enough. They gave you too much freedom or were too controlling. Your boss doesn't appreciate your talents. Your colleagues don't recognize your contributions. Your partner doesn't understand your needs. Your friends don't support your dreams. Society is fundamentally unfair. The system is rigged against you. The economy is broken. The government is corrupt. The world is against you. You have an excuse, a perfectly reasonable explanation, for every single failure, every disappointment, every missed opportunity in your entire life. And you know what? I'll grant you this, some of it might actually be true. Maybe your childhood was genuinely difficult. Maybe you did face real injustice. Maybe circumstances beyond your control did make things harder for you. I'm not dismissing real suffering or real obstacles. But here's the brutal, uncomfortable reality that you need to hear: as long as you're pointing fingers at everyone and everything else, you remain completely powerless. You become a victim of circumstances, blown around by forces you can't control, unable to change anything about your life. And that's exactly why you do it. Because victimhood, as painful as it is actually comfortable. It means nothing is your fault. It means you don't have to take action. It means you can stay exactly where you are without any guilt because, after all, it's not your responsibility. But let me tell you the secret that will change everything if you have the courage to accept it: you are terrifyingly, absolutely, completely free. Right now, in this exact moment, you have the power to choose differently. You have the power to take your life in any direction you want. But that power, that radical freedom, comes with a crushing weight. It means you can't blame anyone else anymore. It means your life, your happiness, your fulfillment, your meaning, is entirely your responsibility. Every choice you've ever made has led you to this exact moment. Every decision going forward will shape what comes next. And that level of freedom, that level of responsibility, is absolutely devastating if you're not prepared for it. So you keep telling yourself comfortable stories about why things had to be this way. Why you had no choice. Why it's not your fault. Why you're the victim of circumstances. But deep down, in that place you don't like to visit, you know the truth. You're lying to yourself. You're creating these narratives because the truth demands action, and action requires a level of courage that you're not entirely sure you possess. But here's what you need to know: you do possess that courage. It's there. It's always been there. You've just been afraid to access it. Comment below right now, and be ruthlessly honest. What's one thing you've been blaming others for that's actually, truly, your responsibility? Don't hide. Don't make excuses. Just state the truth. This is where your transformation begins. This is where you stop being a victim and start being the author of your own life. The fourth sign reveals something even darker, even more insidious about the way you're living. And this one is perhaps the most universal, the most deeply embedded in how modern humans avoid reality. Here it is: you treat death like it's not real. Like it's some abstract concept that applies to other people but not to you. You know, intellectually, that you will die. You've been to funerals. You've lost people. You understand mortality on a conceptual level. But you don't actually believe it. Not really. Not in your bones. Not in the way you live each day. You live as if you have infinite time. As if tomorrow is absolutely guaranteed. As if there will always be another opportunity, another chance, another day to do what you really want to do, to be who you really want to be, to live the life you actually desire. You postpone everything meaningful. I'll start that business next year. I'll write that book someday. I'll travel when I retire. I'll tell them how I really feel when the time is right. I'll pursue my passion once I'm more secure. I'll start living authentically when everything else is in place. But here's what I discovered after decades of deep philosophical thought: death is not just an ending. It's not simply the cessation of biological function. Death is the thing that gives life its meaning. Death is what makes every moment precious. Death is what should wake you up every single morning with urgent clarity about what actually matters. Without death, nothing would matter. Without the finite nature of existence, you could postpone forever. But you can't. Every moment you waste is a moment you can never, ever get back. Every day you spend living someone else's version of your life, pursuing someone else's definition of success, following someone else's script, is a day stolen from the only life you actually have. And the clock is always ticking. It never stops. It never pauses. Right now, as you watch this, as you hear these words, you are closer to death than you've ever been. You're one moment closer to the end. Does that terrify you? It absolutely should. But not in a morbid, depressing way. It should terrify you into waking up. It should make you ask the most important question you can possibly ask: what am I doing with this precious, limited, irreplaceable time? Am I living authentically? Am I being true to what matters most to me? Am I following my own path or someone else's? Am I making choices based on fear or based on truth? Or am I sleepwalking through an existence I never actually chose, living on autopilot, letting years slip by without ever really being present? Most people, the vast majority of human beings, spend their entire existence in complete denial of death. They push it away. They refuse to think about it. They act as if it will never come for them. They surround themselves with distractions specifically designed to help them forget their mortality. But death is the ultimate truth. It's the one absolute certainty in your life. It's the one thing you cannot negotiate with, cannot bargain with, cannot escape from, cannot postpone forever. And here's the tragedy, the deep, profound tragedy: by running from death, by refusing to acknowledge your mortality, you're also running from life. Because only when you truly, viscerally accept that you will die, that your time is limited, that every day brings you closer to the end, do you start living with real urgency. Only when you face the inevitable do you stop wasting precious time on things that don't actually matter. Only when you embrace your mortality do you become truly alive. Now we arrive at the fifth sign, and this is where most people's psychological defenses really start to crack and crumble. This is where the truth starts cutting close to the bone. Here's the sign: you've very carefully, very deliberately surrounded yourself with people who never challenge you. Look at your circle of friends. Look at your family relationships. Look at your romantic partner if you have one. What do all these relationships have in common? They're safe. They're comfortable. They never push you too hard. Your friends agree with everything you say. They validate all your opinions. They support all your choices without question. Your family enables your worst behaviors because addressing them would create conflict, and conflict is uncomfortable. You've carefully constructed a social bubble where everyone reinforces your illusions, confirms your biases, and never, ever forces you to look at the parts of yourself you'd rather keep hidden. Why? Why do you do this? Because real connection, authentic human connection, is dangerous. Real connection means someone might actually see through your masks. Someone might see the truth of who you are underneath all the performance. Someone might call you out on your self-deception, your lies, your cowardice. Someone might force you to confront the shadow parts of yourself that you've spent years trying to hide. So you keep relationships shallow. You keep conversations at the surface level. You talk about weather, sports, work gossip, celebrity drama, anything that doesn't require real vulnerability or honest self-examination. You never let anyone get close enough to threaten the false version of yourself you've so carefully constructed. You surround yourself with yes men and yes women who will never question you, never challenge you, never demand that you grow. And in doing so, you've guaranteed that you'll remain exactly where you are forever. Because growth requires friction. Transformation requires someone to hold up a mirror and show you what you'd rather not see. But here's what you're missing: what you're sacrificing in your quest for comfort. Authentic connection is the only thing that makes life truly worth living. When you connect with another human being at the deepest possible level, when you drop absolutely all pretense and show yourself as you truly are, flaws and all, fears and all, darkness and all, something absolutely miraculous happens. You discover that you're not alone in your suffering. You realize that everyone, every single person, is fighting the same fundamental battle against meaninglessness, anxiety, and death. And in that shared struggle, in that moment of genuine human connection, you find something transcendent. You find meaning that can't be found anywhere else. You find the courage to face what you've been avoiding. But you'll never experience this if you keep everyone at arm's length. You'll never know real love if you never risk being truly seen. You'll never experience genuine friendship if you never allow someone to see your darkness. Think about your closest relationships right now. Be honest. Do they reflect who you really are? Or are they just another form of escape, another way to avoid the truth? Write in the comments, when was the last time you had a conversation that actually challenged you to grow? The sixth sign is perhaps the most painful to truly acknowledge because it strikes at the heart of how most modern people make decisions. Here it is, and I want you to really feel the weight of this. You've made comfort your God. You worship at the altar of ease, convenience, and security. You choose the easy path over the right path every single time. You stay in the job you absolutely hate because it provides security. The paycheck is reliable. The benefits are good. You know what to expect. So you spend 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, slowly dying inside, sacrificing your dreams and your passion and your limited time on earth for the illusion of security. You remain in the relationship that's clearly dying, that stopped being genuine years ago, because being alone terrifies you. It's easier to stay with someone you don't really love than to face the vulnerability and uncertainty of being single. It's more comfortable to maintain the status quo than to have the difficult conversation that needs to happen. You never take real risks because failure might hurt. You never start that business because it might not work. You never write that book because people might not like it. You never travel to that place because something might go wrong. You never tell that person how you really feel because they might reject you. So you play it safe. You choose the path of least resistance. You've traded the adventure, the meaning, the depth of a truly lived life for the safety and comfort of a mediocre, half-lived existence. And you tell yourself this is wisdom. You tell yourself you're being responsible. You tell yourself you're being realistic. You tell yourself that dreamers are naive and risk-takers are foolish. But it's not wisdom. It's not responsibility. It's not realism. It's cowardice dressed up as prudence. It's fear wearing the mask of maturity. Because here's what I learned through decades of studying human existence: growth only happens at the edge of your comfort zone. Real transformation requires real suffering. There is absolutely no authentic life without struggle, without pain, without risk. The moments that actually define you, the experiences that shape who you become, are not the moments when everything was easy and comfortable. They're the moments when you had to choose between what was comfortable and what was true. Between what was safe and what was meaningful. Between what was easy and what was right. And every single time you choose comfort over truth, security over meaning, ease over authenticity, you betray yourself. You betray the person you could become. You become a little less alive. You drift further from your potential. You shrink instead of expand. Think about your biggest regrets in life right now. Really think about them. I absolutely guarantee you they're not the things you tried and failed at. They're not the risks you took that didn't work out. They're the things you never tried at all. The risks you didn't take. The words you didn't say. The dreams you abandoned. The life you didn't live because you were too comfortable, too safe, too afraid. That's what you'll regret on your deathbed. Not your failures. Your refusals to try. Comment below and complete this sentence: if I wasn't afraid, I would. Be specific. Be honest. This might be the most important comment you ever write. And now we reach the seventh and final sign, the one that ties absolutely everything together. This is the master key that unlocks your entire prison. Pay very close attention because this might be the most important thing anyone ever tells you. Here's the sign: you're waiting for permission to live. You're waiting for someone, anyone, to tell you it's okay to start being yourself. You're waiting for the perfect moment. The right circumstances. The ideal conditions. The right amount of money in your bank account. The right relationship. The right job. The right city. The right body. The right level of confidence. The right version of yourself. You're waiting for everything to line up perfectly before you allow yourself to actually live. But here's the devastating truth that nobody wants to tell you: that perfect moment will never, ever come. There is no right time. The circumstances will never be ideal. The conditions will never be perfect. There's only now. Only this moment. This exact second. This breath you're taking right now. This heartbeat. This present instant is literally all you have. It's the only thing that's real. And you keep letting it slip through your fingers, moment after moment, day after day, year after year, because you're waiting for some external validation that it's okay to start living your real life. But nobody is going to give you that permission. Your parents won't. Your friends won't. Your partner won't. Society certainly won't. The universe doesn't care if you ever step into your authentic self. The world will keep spinning whether you live fully or die having never truly lived at all. This is entirely, completely, absolutely on you. You are the only one who can decide that today is the day you stop running. That right now is the moment you face what you've been avoiding. That this breath, this heartbeat, this present second is when you finally choose truth over comfort, authenticity over performance, meaning over security. And let me tell you exactly what happens when you make that choice. When you finally decide to stop waiting, stop performing, stop running. Everything changes. Not externally, at first. Your bank account doesn't suddenly increase. Your circumstances don't magically improve. The external world remains the same. But internally, everything is transformed. You start seeing clearly for the first time in your life. The fog that's been clouding your vision for years suddenly lifts. The noise that's been drowning out your authentic voice finally quiets. And you realize, with absolute clarity, that the thing you've been running from your entire life, the inevitable truth you've been avoiding with every distraction and every comfortable lie, is actually the door to your freedom. Death is not your enemy. Inauthenticity is. Wasted time is. A life unlived is. The real tragedy isn't that you will die. Every living thing dies. That's not tragic. That's natural. That's the way existence works. The real tragedy, the genuine horror, is that you might die without ever having truly lived. Without ever knowing who you really are beneath all the masks. Without ever experiencing the raw, terrifying, beautiful reality of an authentic existence. Without ever taking the risks that mattered. Without ever loving fully. Without ever being fully yourself. That's what I'm trying to save you from. Not death. But a living death. The walking nightmare of an existence spent in absolute denial of everything that actually matters. An entire life wasted on distractions and comfortable lies. So here's what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow when you feel more ready. Not next week when you have more time. Not next month when circumstances are better. Not next year when you've figured everything out. Right now. This very second. Take one single action that reflects your authentic self. Just one. Something small. Something true. Something real. Maybe it's finally having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's starting that creative project you've been putting off for years. Maybe it's sending that message you've been too afraid to send. Maybe it's applying for that opportunity you think you're not ready for. Maybe it's just sitting in complete silence for 10 minutes and allowing yourself to actually feel what you've been running from all this time. Whatever it is, whatever action represents truth for you right now, do it immediately. Don't think. Don't analyze. Don't create more excuses. Just act. Because every single moment you delay is another moment stolen from the only life you'll ever have. And I need you to understand something absolutely crucial here. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about having everything figured out. This isn't about suddenly becoming some idealized version of yourself overnight. Authenticity isn't a destination you reach and then you're done. It's not a goal you accomplish and check off your list. Authenticity is a practice. A daily practice. A moment-by-moment practice. Some days you'll be incredibly brave. You'll face your fears. You'll speak your truth. You'll live fully. Other days you'll retreat back into your comfortable lies and familiar patterns. You'll choose safety over truth. You'll wear the masks again. And that's completely okay. What matters, the only thing that truly matters, is that you keep coming back to the truth. That you keep choosing consciousness over sleep. That you keep facing what cannot be escaped. That you keep practicing authenticity even when it's terrifying. Because in the end, and the end is coming for all of us sooner than we think, when your time finally runs out, and it absolutely will run out, the only question that matters is this: did you live? Did you truly, fully, authentically live? Or did you spend your precious, limited, irreplaceable existence running from the very thing that could have set you free? The choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. The question is, what will you choose right now in this moment? Comment below with your commitment. Tell me one specific thing you're going to stop running from. Tell me one action you're taking today. Make it real. Make it public. Make it concrete. Make it now. Because your life is happening right now, right this second, and you're literally running out of time to claim it. The 7 signs I've shown you aren't just observations about human behavior. They're not just interesting psychological insights. They're an invitation. A direct, personal invitation to you specifically. An invitation to wake up before it's too late. To step into the life that's been waiting for you all along. The life you've been too afraid to live. The authentic existence you've been avoiding. But you're not too afraid anymore, are you? Because now you know the truth. And the truth, once you've heard it, once you've really heard it, will not let you rest until you answer its call. So answer it. Right this second. Your authentic life is waiting. It's been waiting for years. Stop running. Stop pretending. Stop performing. Start living. Start being. Start choosing truth. This is your moment. This is your chance. This is your life. Don't waste it. Not one more second. The clock is ticking. What will you choose?